Welcome to Michigan Out of Doors.
Hey, I'm Jenny Olson, and this week I'm out here in Weberville with a bunch of guys that are chasing after rabbits with sticks and strings. You won't want to miss it. Jimmy's got some more exciting stuff for us this week, too.
Well, that's right, Jenny. We do have a few more things on this week's show, one of which we're going to stop in with some folks at the DNR and get an update on the quality deer management proposal for the northwest part of the Lower Peninsula. You're not going to want to miss that. We're also going to stop in at a local calling competition for predators, and then we're going to round out the show with you, the viewer. Some of your Facebook photos that you've been posting for our bragging board segment. Lots of good stuff on this week's show. You stay tuned. I'm Jimmy Gratzinger, and it's time for Michigan Out of Doors.
From the first spring rains to the soft summer breeze, dancing on the pine forest floor, the autumn colors catch your eyes. Here come the crystal winter skies. It's Michigan, Michigan out of doors. Someday our children all will see this is their finest legacy, the wonder and the love of Michigan. As the wind comes whispering through the trees, the sweet smell of nature's in the air. From the Great Lakes to the quiet stream, shining like a sportsman's dream. It's a love of Michigan we all share.
Michigan Out of Doors is presented by Greenstone Farm Credit Services, making recreational land ownership possible across Michigan and northeast Wisconsin. Begin your land financing journey at one of Greenstone's 37 locations or visit greenstonefcs.com. By Meijer, a destination for hunting, fishing, and camping. From bug spray and tents to GPS and gas, Meijer has nearly everything you need to take on nature and get you there. Meijer. By Pictured Rocks Boat Cruises of Munising, exploring Lake Superior's Pictured Rocks National Lakeshore with its sandstone cliffs, caves, waterfalls, and lighthouses. Pictured Rocks Boat Cruises on the web at picturedrocks.com. By Country Smokehouse, offering a variety of meat products. Country Smokehouse is located 3 miles south of I-69 on M53 just south of Imlay City. Country Smokehouse is a meat processor, a butcher, and a destination for sportsmen.
Last Sunday in a farm field in Livingston County, just outside of Weberville, a group of rabbit hunters gathered for their annual outing. Things would be a little different today since there were no guns on this hunt, only bows and arrows, which always makes things a bit more interesting.
You guys got your guns loaded?
I think I got about 3 or 4 bullets.
So what's the plan of attack here? How does this work?
Well, we got about 200 acres to cover today, and we got 6 dogs. Some of my good friends brought their dogs, and we got sticks and stones actually, sticks and arrows. And this is our 10th year, so it's a landmark year. And in the previous 9 years, we've gotten 4 rabbits and a mouse. So it's all together in the last 9 years. So
well, shoot.
So hopefully this will be a good year. Jimmy was here about 4 years ago, and the year he was here, we ended up getting 2 rabbits that year.
Wow.
So hopefully with you being here, you'll bring us some luck, and we'll put a couple on the table.
Very cool.
This is my father-in-law, Dale Westrick, and this is who started the rabbit hunt.
Nice.
His idea was the one about the rabbit hunt, and like I said, 10 years ago.
Maggie.
Maggie's 3 years old. She's starting to learn what she's doing. She's getting together. She's one of the young ones.
Yeah, what do we have over here?
This little girl over here, that's Nutmeg. She's about the same age as Maggie. There are 2 youngsters. There.
These are our 2 old boys. This is Buster and Buddy. They're the veterans. And this guy right here is Rebel.
So tell me your name.
Tyler.
Tyler, how long have you been bow hunting?
I don't know, 3-4 years.
Really? How old are you?
10.
Nice. Well, very cool. So have you been practicing at small targets for this?
Yeah, kind of, not really.
Just kind of winging a prayer at this point, right?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Today was all about having a good time as well as a safe time. Doug gathered up the crew for a safety meeting and to go over some of the strategy they'd be using today with this large group of hunters that included some veterans and some first-timers.
We'll start this morning and we'll go all spread out. There'll be probably 25 of us here. We'll all spread out and let the dogs go, and we'll just stay in one spot, let the dogs start circling around. And my buddy was here about 2 weeks ago and said he's seen quite a bit of sign of rabbits and tracks. So
cool.
Hopefully we'll get a few.
Well, things were looking pretty good for the hunt today. We had just stepped into this first thicket, and the dogs already had a rabbit running.
Here. I got one running over there. Right here. There it goes.
That first rabbit of the day slipped right on through all the hunters, and no one had a chance to get off a shot. As the dogs kept hot on the trail, the guys waited to see if this one would circle back around. While we waited, I had a chance to visit with Steve Lattiser and his 7-year-old son, Hunter. Even at such a young age, Hunter is already pretty serious about chasing rabbits, and he knows his stuff. Can you tell me a couple things? Tell me what you know about rabbit hunting. What's some of the important things you need to know when you're going out to hunt rabbits?
Never aim your arrow at a person, and never shoot one of the dogs.
Perfect.
You always have to tell before you know to shoot.
That's awesome. All right. So what happens then when you see a rabbit? What are you doing?
Shoot it.
All right. And what do the rabbits do sometimes, though? You were telling me before I had the camera on. Where do when they run around sometimes?
They figure eight or circle around.
So Steve, tell me what you and Hunter are shooting here. What kind of bows do you have?
This is a self bow that was a gift from a friend, Jim Belcher. He did not build this bow, but I was talking about it one day and he gifted it to me. It was something he had hanging around, and the bow that Hunter's shooting is a Union Jack Jr. Built by Jim Belcher, who now owns Sky Archery. And that's the only one in the United States. There are 4 of them made in existence that I know of, and 3 of them are in England and owned by his nephews. So that's the only Union Jack Jr. in the U.S. And we shoot longbows, and only longbows.
Why is that?
They sing to us. It's a completely different thing than shooting a compound, which is what I started shooting in the first place. And I enjoyed it, but there's something different about it. It's just it's more nostalgic. You have to be a better archer. It forces you to be a better hunter, and they're beautiful. So awesome. That's what we love to do, right? Longbows forever, right?
Steve sure has a great appreciation for the sport of traditional archery, and I'd say Hunter is following right along in his footsteps. As they moved through to another area, the dogs were on a second rabbit. Steve and Hunter moved quickly to get into position near an opening where they figured the rabbit would come through. It did, and they both let their arrows fly. So, Steve, what happened in that one?
I missed by about a mile. I think my string hit the back of my arm guard, but we both got an arrow off, Hunter and I both. The rabbit came through here, went right across, so we got to an open area because we knew it was going to cross through here. So hopefully the dogs will get on it. They're having a hard time keeping a scent because of the temperature today, but they'll run it back around if they can get on top of it.
So stay put?
Yeah, so we're gonna stay right in here. We'll call the dogs over, try to get them on the trail.
I saw him skirt across the top of that hill. Did you see him?
Yep, I saw him come right across here.
It ran right up the hill, and then it went back down and it figure eighted.
What did you do?
I tried to shoot it from the hill because I saw it come up, and then it figure eighted, and then I saw it, and I tried to shoot it up there so it would get it.
Yeah, a little bit close, but no rabbit, huh?
No.
All right, we'll try again. It was becoming pretty obvious that these guys were not here to fill their game bags, but for the camaraderie and kinship that come with this deep appreciation they have for the art of their sport. Chris, what are you shooting here?
I'm shooting a sky bow.
Nice.
It's a sky longhorn. Jim found an extraordinary piece of yew for it. Yew is what the English longbows are made out of.
It's just a type of wood?
Yep.
Okay.
Yews, I think they're actually the arbor vitalis, the really big, tall shrub trees. And
wow.
That's just the English version of it.
It's pretty neat to see the different bows these guys use and to hear the stories of how each one is uniquely made. One guy out here doesn't carry a bow, just a dog whistle. Ken Gardner is the dog whisperer of the group and would much rather watch his dogs work than shoot at rabbits.
I love the dog work. So I've been raising them for over 25 years. So out of the 6 dogs here today, 5 of the 6 have come through my kennel. So
very nice.
We just enjoy it. So
cool.
Actually, that's how we met. A lot of these guys, Chris, Steve, they've all bought dogs from me, and one thing's led to another. So it's a little cold and the wind. So as a rabbit leaves a scent, the scent's disappearing really quickly. So hopefully between one of the 6 dogs, somebody can get enough to help the next dog out. So
They seem to work really well together, too.
they do work well together. We've got, what do we got? We got two 11-year-olds, I believe. We got a 9-year-old out here, 6-year-old, and two 3-year-olds. So we got quite a span of age of dogs out here.
Well, after a few hours of stomping around in the woods, everyone had worked up an appetite. The group reconvened and headed back to the trucks, where Dale was acting as camp cook and had fired up some lunch and hot cider for a warm-up. After a few stories of the morning hunt, a game plan was drawn up for the afternoon, and off we went. Not far from the trucks, the dogs found another rabbit.
Arrow fell off. Arrow fell off.
What? Well, that was exciting. How far away was that rabbit? 3 feet?
I should have just stepped on him.
Another rabbit managed to slip by untouched, but that's all part of the fun when you're hunting with bows and arrows. Next, we headed to a fence row that has produced a rabbit every year on this hunt, and today was no different. We had one sneaking in, and here in this freeze frame, you can see where it is.
It's right here. Right here. Here it comes. Right between all those big trees. You should be there.
Coming at you, Cap.
I think a lot of arrows got flung at that rabbit. We almost got him right here, hey?
Almost.
The crew had covered every corner of this farm and had found quite a few rabbits. Many arrows were flung out here, however, these guys were going home with empty game bags. But today was about much more than hunting rabbits. It was about keeping a tradition, passing on a heritage, respecting the resources of our great state, and spending time with friends and family in Michigan's Out of Doors.
We've had a process in Michigan, it's been off and on, but around for a number of years, where groups could propose implementing an mandatory antler point restriction, or APR for a designated area. This one was forwarded by the Northwest chapter of Quality Deer Management Association to implement a 3 on a side minimum point restriction for deer in 12 counties in Northwest Michigan. Many folks may recall Leelanau County has had a 3 point on a side rule for a number of years now, which was implemented under that process a while back. The group has to host public meetings to give a presentation about why they're proposing that restriction and have an opportunity for the public to come learn a little bit more about it. And then our division conducts a survey to gauge what hunter support is to implement that restriction. We've shifted the timeline around which this works. So we ran that survey this past summer and have now wrapped that up in December of last year. So the survey requires at least a 50% response rate, and we had, I think, 80% response to it, so that was outstanding. And then at least 66% support needs to be obtained in order for implementation to be recommended, and that margin was exceeded as well.
With the surveys complete, a big part of the process is over. However, it isn't final until it gets approved by the Natural Resources Commission, or the NRC. The NRC recently restructured the process for submitting proposals, which leads Brent to believe the odds are very likely that it will pass and go into effect this fall.
Not long ago, I mentioned we had this process in the past. Our NRC put a hold on it for a while. We'd had some proposals that had passed and some that had failed, and there was sometimes controversy among groups that were on different sides of the issue. And about 2 years ago now, we put a work group together. The Natural Resources Commission put a work group together to take comments on whether they should start up this whole proposal process again, and get some recommendations for making maybe some adjustments to it. So through that work group, they pretty much committed, our Natural Resources Commission committed to saying, we think this is a legitimate way for groups to bring these proposals forward, and we stand behind the components of measuring the support and so forth. So we feel pretty strongly that they've made that indication that it's something that they want to continue with. If Wildlife Division for any reason saw some dramatic problem, deer population management issue that was going to be conflicting with implementing a point restriction, that would certainly be another consideration, but we've already given that thought to when the proposal was received, and we continue to see this as mostly an issue about
recreational choice and preferences, with the majority of hunters in that area feeling that the restriction is worth it based on the outcomes they might expect. We support that implementation.
The idea for the Northwest proposal has gained a lot of ground in the past couple of years, in part because of the success of Leelanau County, or DMU 45, a DMU that has seen great results with the same antler point restrictions.
I think the interest for seeing a proposal come forward in Northwest Michigan was based on some of the success that hunters saw in Leelanau County. The part of the process is 5 years after a point restriction is put in place, we conduct a survey again to see if hunters want to retain that restriction. In Leelanau County, the survey to see if that point restriction should be retained had even a higher level of support. So that was an indication to us that hunters were very pleased with the results that they saw. We heard that anecdotally too, people coming to meetings or writing letters and saying, they've seen a good response subsequent to that point restriction being in place, but the survey really gave us some measure of that. The rules are put in place so that at least half of yearling bucks will be protected from harvest by the point restriction. So we typically see a pretty notable increase in the number of 2.5-year-old deer that are taken, somewhat in 3.5-year-old deer, and oftentimes beyond that it's difficult to see much of a difference. You're talking about a small number of deer from especially something as small as an individual county like Leelanau County or many of the other areas. But the question still remains, is hunters, they're impacted in some way by this. They have to look more closely at deer, they have to pass some deer. If they can't be absolutely certain they meet the criteria, they're going to lose some opportunity. And some deer you might pass and they're hit by a car, or they're taken by a predator, or something else happens with an injury and mortality that you don't get a chance at them again later on. After that experience though there, folks still were willing to have that restriction in place based on what they saw as a result.
Changes to Michigan's deer regulations seem imminent, with hunters split on both sides of the issue. Special thanks to Brent Rudolph for taking time to give us an up-to-date report on the latest and greatest here in Michigan's Out of Doors.
Well, anytime you bring up deer management here in the state of Michigan, you have quite a group on both sides of the issue. And we must be doing fairly good here at Michigan Out of Doors Television, because we have people from the quality deer management side of the coin that are saying, hey, you're not talking about this proposal enough. Are you against it? And we have people that are against it saying you guys are talking about it way too much. So whichever side of the fence you land on, this quality deer management proposal, which looks like it's going to go into effect for the northwest part of the Lower Peninsula, it will be an interesting thing to kind of watch and see if they have the same success there they had in Leelanau County. What we're going to do now is switch gears and do something else that's kind of a big hit this time of the year, and that is calling predators.
A few weeks back, I was able to spend some time near Marshall, Michigan, covering a predator calling contest. The plan was to hunt for a few hours, then cover the final weigh-in. After a couple of sets, we did manage to call in a coyote, but couldn't get the camera and the hunter in the right position. Afterwards, we headed to the weigh-in, where I met up with Leo Green to learn a little more about this year's contest.
It's Michigan only, and we only hunt coyote, fox, and bobcat. Each predator is a score of 1, and the contest is determined by who kills the most single animals. We don't give extra for bobcat or anything. Because people can go anywhere they want to hunt on their own land after they sign up, we've had quite a few people from Grand Rapids, Allegan, Grayling, a guy come down and then was going back up to hunt. So anywhere there at all, we're not including raccoons or any of those kind of varmints in it. It's strictly a calling contest, and we're trying to encourage everybody. We don't allow dogs or running. We believe that that kind of hunting is perfect, but it's just not for our event. We're strictly call your coyote first on the honor system and shoot it after it comes to the call.
In addition to a few different vendors, also on hand today was the local conservation officer, there to answer questions and talk about the most common violations among predator hunters.
Any type of hunting in Calhoun County, the most prevalent violation is going to be trespass. It's all the property down here in Calhoun County is privately owned. Therefore, we have a lot of trespass complaints. So it's very important to know where where you're at all times, and you have permission to be on that property. The next violation I see a lot, usually during daylight hunting hours, would be no hunter's orange. When the hunters are up and about, moving from location to location, the law does allow for you to hunt predators during daylight hunting hours from a stationary position, basically without hunter's orange. However, when you move positions or as you're going to and from your setups, you have to wear hunter's orange as a safety precaution. And then I think the last thing is a lot of guys don't understand the regulations when it comes to firearms. For example, during daylight hunting hours, you can use center fire rifles. However, at night, you're limited to a shotgun with other than buckshot, cut shells, or slugs. So basically, we're talking bird shot from a shotgun or a .22 caliber or smaller rimfire rifle only during nighttime hunting hours.
Among the vendors on hand today was Greg Brown with Northern Lights, a company that specializes in making lights that cater to the outdoorsman. Today he was showing off a few lights that would come in handy for any predator hunter.
Lights that we have are set up for mounting on rifles. We have a real bright NL600 light here that reaches out well past 100 yards, which works real well with Michigan rimfire rules. And then we have a shotgun mount light here that works real well on shotguns for hunting in close quarters. These lights both work as well as scan lights for looking for eyes in a handheld mode.
Predator hunting has increased dramatically over the last couple of years, and I asked Leo how the event has changed due to the increased popularity.
Hunting buddy of mine, Jeff Duckworth, and I started this event 4 years ago, and the first year we had just a seminar. Then after that we decided to start running a hunt, and the first year we had a one-day hunt, and one coyote was taken and won the contest. Last year we had a 3-day hunt, like this year was a 3-day hunt. I think we had 43 teams this year, 106 hunters come in and go, and so far they've hung up 9 coyotes. There's still a little time left, and 2 fox. So the guys did pretty good. Sounds like most of them were harvested after dark rather than in the daylight. A few of them have been in the daylight with center fire rifles. Real good group of guys. Everything seems to go real well. I already checked with the DNR. There was no complaints or anything. That was really nice to hear that everybody was out following the rules.
Calling contests are becoming more and more popular here in Michigan and are a great way for amateur callers to learn a few new tricks. If learning to call predators is something you're interested in, events like these are a great way to get started.
When I wander far away, a dream stays with me night and day. It's the road that leads to my home state. I am a Michigan man. Changing seasons paint the scene like rainbow trout in a hidden stream. The white-tailed deer in the tall pine trees. I am a Michigan man. I am a Michigan man. Ask where I'm from and I'll show you my hands. Lord above, I love this land. I am a Michigan man. From the Keweenaw down to St. Joe, Kalamazoo, East to Monroe, to St. Marie and back again. I am a Michigan man. I am a Michigan man. Ask where I'm from and I'll show you my hands. Lord above, I love this land. I am a Michigan man.
everybody, thank you so much for watching Michigan Out of Doors this week, and thank you for sending in those photos both by email and Facebook. It's fun to look at successful photos from all around the state of Michigan. Now, if you missed part of this week's show or last week's show, you can always check out our website at michiganoutofdoorstv.com. We have full episodes of the show there, and you can pretty much watch it on any smartphone now as well. And if you're looking to see what we're going to be up to on a more day-to-day basis, you can check us out on Facebook. We're on there pretty much every day or so, updating you on what goes in as we try to bring you 52 brand new episodes here in the great state of Michigan. Thanks so much for joining us this week. Hopefully, we'll see you right back here next week on your PBS station.
Michigan Out of Doors is presented by Zimmer Roofing and Construction in Port Huron, featuring Duralast roofing systems made in Michigan. Zimmer Roofing and Construction provides installation, maintenance, service, and repair, serving commercial and residential clients on the web at zimmerroofing.com. By Showspan, producing consumer shows including Outdoorama February 21st through the 24th at Novi's Suburban Collection Showplace. The show features tackle, trips, boats, outfitters, wildlife encounters, and of course Big Buck Night. That's Outdoorama in Novi February 21st through the 24th. By Propane, exceptional energy. Propane retailers promote the safe use of Michigan-produced gas energy in homes, farms, and businesses across our great state. Learn more at usemichiganpropane.com. By Meyer, a destination for hunting, fishing, and camping. From bug spray and tents to GPS and gas, Meyer has nearly everything you need to take on nature and get you there. Meyer. Closed captioning is brought to you by Propane, exceptional energy. Propane retailers promote the safe use of Michigan-produced gas to outdoor enthusiasts across our great state.